Okay, so chapter 13, it's going to be the last chapter that we cover, and I'm only going to cover certain portions. So what we're responsible for, and I think I pared down the Learn Smart to kind of focus on what I wanted you guys to know. But I'm lecturing on what we're responsible for. There's more stuff in the chapter that we're not going to get to, that I'm not going to test on. All right. And so the things that we're going to be responsible for primarily are horizontal and vertical analysis. We'll reference ratio analysis as the third type of financial statement analysis. But we're not going to get knee deep in that. I don't really value testing that because it's really just ratios, dividing one number by another. And that I don't think is value added. It's memorization of formulas, right? And there have been ratios in each chapter, and for the most part, we've kind of skipped over those. All right. So we're going to focus on horizontal and vertical analysis. All right. So when we talk about horizontal analysis, we're talking about anytime we're comparing financial information, financial data from one period to the next. All right. And I also include, this would be comparing, this could be within the same company or multiple companies. All right. But you're looking at if it's 2019, you're looking at a 2019 financial statement, 2018 and a 2017, right? And that allows you to compare the results across time so you can pick up what we'll refer to as a trend. One of the things that we'll do, and I'll demonstrate this, I think I'll put it in with Wednesday's content, or the April 22nd content, is preparing comparative financial statements, right? Most companies, when they report financial statements, they do it in a comparative format, which means they've got 2 to 3 years of financial statements side by side, right? So what we'll do with those is we'll do a couple of things. The first thing we'll do is the computation of what we refer to as a dollar change. And generally what that amounts to is the base amount, which traditionally is the oldest period reported, and then we'll subtract that from the subsequent period, and that's your dollar change. So in other words, if a number has gone up, it's going to be positive. If a number has gone down, you'd have a negative dollar change. All right. And then we'll do a percent change. You compute dollar change first because that's in the formula. And then you divide by the base period amount, which is traditionally the oldest number reported. You do this for every line item. So if this is an income statement and you're doing revenue, you do this for revenue, and below revenue would be cost of goods sold. You'd compute the same for cost of goods sold. We'll demonstrate this on Wednesday. And then you turn it into a percentage. So that's why we have the multiple, right? Trend analysis, there's a formula there. Again, we'll demonstrate this. But here's a quick visualization of what I'm referring to. So comparative statements, and these are obviously in brief because they only have 3 numbers: net sales, cost of sales, and operating expenses. All right, just some data. And so we see the oldest year is expressed as 100%, right? And so we know that, for example, net sales, well, they increased from 2009 to 2010 by 52%. How do we know that? Because net sales is 152% of 2009, right? And then we see a huge jump in 2011. That 252% is based on 2009, and so on and so forth. All right. Here's another trend line, and this is just a graphical representation of the previous data. The other thing that we'll do, and again we'll demonstrate this, is called common size financial statements. And in this financial statement, and this is vertical analysis. So vertical analysis is different than horizontal in that you're comparing the relationships of numbers within 1 year. All right. So horizontal, we were going from year to year. With vertical analysis, we're going within 1 year and looking at the relationships. So what we're going to do is express every number on a financial statement in terms of a base. So for the income statement, you're going to look at revenues, right? And then every number on that income statement is expressed as a percentage of revenues, all right? And so if, let's say, you get down to net income, and net income is 15% of revenues, well, that common size percentage tells you that for every dollar of revenue, you have 15 cents of net income. All right. Or if cost of goods sold was 62 cents, well, you know that it cost you 62 cents to generate a dollar of revenue. All right. So that's how we use that. Same with the balance sheet. In the balance sheet, everything would be expressed as a percentage of total assets. All right. Very good for analytics. We'll do a common size financial statement. We've skipped that here. We'll demonstrate that with the 422 content, but this is what you can, this is another graphical representation thereof. So common size, so the entire pie chart represents revenue. All right, so if a dollar of revenue is earned, it costs 62.4 cents to generate that dollar of revenue. All right, other expenses, income taxes, 7.7% of every dollar of revenue earned. Selling, general, and other administrative, 5.6. And after all those expenses are paid and the cost of sales, you have net income of 21.7 cents per dollar of revenue. All right. Okay, and this is very similar just as it relates to total assets. So this would be of a balance sheet. All right, or the asset section of a balance sheet. So you see the biggest chunk in this particular company is long-term market securities, 51.3% of total assets. Cash and cash equivalents is just under 7%. So this is useful in looking at the relationships among the numbers within one financial period. Okay, that's really your quick fly through of vertical and horizontal analysis.